Hello and welcome to the Freedom from the Night. As we get off into the Tales of the Supernatural, today I just wanted to. I'm going over this subject today. It's another subject. Get ready for it. It's something that I got today. Technically, it's been a subject I was supposed to been put out there, but I'm putting out there today. Can't worry about it. But for those out there, I know that you're not going to be ready for what I'm about to say, but for those who are, listen up. Listen up, because it's finna blow your mind on the numerous amount of things that I'm about to tell you, okay? Even some of you who already know and who can expand further on what I'm already saying. But we all are in this together, okay? So just because I'm saying that don't mean you know more than me or I know more than you. It just means that I know where I'm at. And I know that there are others out there where they're at, okay? That's just it. It's nothing personal. So we should never take this stuff personal between you and me. It's only personal between us and the Father. Understand? Okay. So experience really doesn't matter. Period. Point blank period. Experience don't matter. No, got nothing to do with this walk. Got nothing to do with this walk. A baby can walk this walk. You understand what I'm saying? A baby can do this walk. So experience don't mean nothing. Because God will make the first last and the last first in this walk. So anyway, let me get into this and introduce myself. My name is Shantae. I am Lieutenant General, Soldiers of Arms, reporting for duty, sir. Yes, sir. That is I. Okay? Ready. So I just want to say this. God is saying those in the faith, and I'm reading, of course, you know me. I read from my notes. I don't care how you take it. I don't care. But God is saying those in the faith, you will use your sensors to heal. And more. More to come. Everything is changing. Everything is changing. Everything is changing. Do you understand me? It's changing. And it's changing for evil. It's changing for evil. Yes, it is. Everything is changing, and it's changing for evil. But for God's children who are in the faith, that includes unbelievers and believers. That does include unbelievers, believers, saints. That includes also the unbelievers, just in case you didn't know that. Yeah, that includes them too. Okay, so don't get this wrong. This is nothing personal. This is only putting the last first, and those who were first last. It's humbling people if they're not already humbled because of their positions. Okay? That's basically what that's doing. Okay? Alright. So it's changing. The things are changing, but it's changing for evil. It's changing most definitely for evil. For God's children who are in the faith, unbelievers and believers, understand? And I say unbelievers because due to the faith the unbelievers are putting in to the gospel by changing their minds, renewing their minds, and doing the things that they're doing for God, even though it looked like to religious people that these people are still evil, but they are not. Which is why you have to go into the spirit realm and know what's what. Other than that, you just think that these people are the same, but they're not. Okay? So even believers and even unbelievers, through the faith, which is because of God's promise. Because of God's promise, it's called the seeding of faith. All right, the seeding of faith, and through the seeding of faith, because of God's promise, unbelievers can do the same thing, which is sowing and reaping what they sow, just as much as believers can. All right. So again, everything is changing, and it's changing for evil. But those who are in the faith, you will not envy. You will not envy the evil. You won't even go that far with them like that. You focus on something totally different in this hour. You're changing your mind. You're renewing your mind. That's what change is. Renewal. You're getting a renewal to the point where you don't even know you with God already. Even through your mistakes that you're making. Because like I told you about my story, I was still making mistakes. I was still a little more carnal than I was spiritual. But I was still being used by the Father. And a lot of things were still happening in my life that I had to bump my head on too. So, do know that believers and unbelievers, say, you who are seeding in the faith, y'all won't even envy the evil and what they're changing for evil. Because you're going to stop at some point and you're going to be like, oh, okay. And you're going to be like, okay, this is just how it is with them. But me, that's not finna be me. That's how you're going to look at this. Like, oh, but me, that's not going to be me. I'm going to do an actual change. So that means I'm going to turn around and step somewhere else. You know, like when they say sinking sand, your life won't be, your building won't be on sinking sand. Yours will be built on the rock. Yes, it will. It will be built on the rock. So, and what you will be doing, you'll be changing going inward. Let me just express that. You'll be changing going inward. Getting deeper and deeper in the spirit. Aware of what to do when it is time to do it. And knowing when to shush your mouth when it is time to do that. And when to move forward when it's time to do that. You'll know. Believers and unbelievers, this is for you. You will know. So, I wanted to say that. And I also wanted to proceed on by saying, telling a story today. It's the weekend. And, I was not going to come on here, but I had to. Okay. I had to, because it's nothing personal. It does, you know, stuff do happen, and it's going to be all right. That. So, let me tell you a little story today. And hopefully I'll be quick with it and I won't take up too much of your time. So I'm going to tell you a little quick story. And here it is. I was, so this happened a while ago. This been some time ago. And I do mean months ago. I was coming into work. I'm going to start it off like that. I was coming into work one day, and I'm reading off my notes, okay? Because I have a story to tell. I was coming into work one day, and I went to my manager, who was there. And I just had a dream the day before of this same thing happening before I went into it, before I went in there. And it was a coincidence that this lady, it was a coincidence that this same lady was right there in the office. This was a coincidence, okay? Coincidence that this same lady was in the office by herself and me. And in the dream I had the day before, it was her and me in that dream. Wow. Okay. So I was ready. And I didn't get mad because, you know, if something like, say for instance, if you ain't ready and you have a dream and stuff like that, you're going to be like doing stuff for evil. And that's what I used to do. But I've learned over time that when I dream of something, just because I dreamed of it, I can't control it. I can't have control over it like that by trying to take somebody down before they do something, or by telling somebody something before they do something. I now do it differently. Understand? And I also don't tell the Lord God that I don't want to know that before it happened. I know not to do that no more neither, okay? Because my life was taken because of that. But this same exact manager was there. And she basically was going to be the indication, okay, of my last day. That's basically it. She was this manager that I saw that day and had the dream about the day before. She was going to be the indication of my last day. And so funny, normally it's two managers or whatever, supervisor, whatever they call themselves, there. But it happened to be her by herself, which was in my dream. Wow. And again, this is going to be the indication of my last day working there. So I let the day play out with no problem. That's what happened. I let the day play out with no problem because I told the Father that I was going to do this to the last day. I was going to carry this on out. I wasn't going to quit because I knew that was going to be my last. I was going to do this to the end. And on my last day, I was going to know it. I was going to know it. And it was going to be a great day of peace for me. Okay? That day was going to be a great day of peace for me. Not nobody else. Not her and her amount of evil that she was plotting. Because they didn't want me there anymore. I didn't care nothing about their feelings. I didn't care nothing about the feelings that I had about the situation. I didn't care anything about none of it. Because I cast my cares on God. Okay? And I was at peace of my last day. So the person who was there was my girl. That was my girl. And I'm going to call her my girl because she was the indication of my last day. That was my girl. That was my girl. I don't care how evil she was, how much problem she was having at her house and bringing it home, how she was used by the enemy. I don't care. She was my girl that day. And she was about to get me fired. Okay? So she was the manager of fired. Understand? That day she was the manager. That was my girl, and she was the manager of fired. But her fired that she was doing was with no power. It was with no power. She had no power over me. She just had power over herself and what she was doing. It was her problems, not mine. I didn't make her problem be mine, nor did I make any other person that was behind the scenes that knew about it. I didn't make their problems my problems, neither. Okay? I was at peace. That was my girl. And she was the manager of Fired for that day, for me. With no power. Because God carries the fire of power. Understand? Remember that. So as she came and she gave me a small amount of mail to do that day with some packages too along, and they was in the order that they supposed to been packaged. They put them in the order that they supposed to been packaged that day, and I was supposed to been delivering the mail that day. And and she was like, oh man, I was supposed to call you off and I forgot that you was even supposed to be here. Right. But that's her, you know. Hey, some people will put a smile on their face and it be the fakest moment ever. And they ride that fake moment out, right? If they can ride that fake moment out, why come I can't ride my belief out? Right? How come I can't ride on my belief in Christ and ride on my peace of my day? The same way that they can fake a day like this off onto me and plot on my demise. How come? We ain't no different. So I riding my piece out, just like she was riding her fake face out over me, with her no power, with her word fired on my life. Ain't nothing compared to the fire in the power of God. Understand? Remember that. So I was out in the field. So as she gave me all of that, it was in the order. It was another employee. They put it in the order of the way I'm supposed to do it. So I took it in that order. She told me, like they always do, when you get in there, they say, oh, it's in order and everything and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, it's a little this time. I'm like, okay, well, it's a little. It can't be that out of order. It was out of order, okay? It was out of order. That I did not know it was out of order until I went on. And they had the packages in the order of the mail and where it's supposed to go and all that. And I'm like, oh, okay, they got it looking good and stuff. They had it looking good, okay? So it started off all well as I was out in the field. And I was delivering it. It was all good. Then I say about 30 minutes into it, and I would have been done in 30 minutes had it not been for the mess up on the addresses. And the packages was in the place messed up with another address and all this. And so I wasn't really that good at the address because I hadn't been there that long. And they was expecting a lot from you on that job. So I was out in the field delivering my mail and my packages. And then like 30 minutes became like an hour. And an hour became, because I got like totally like just overwhelmed again. And then as I got overwhelmed because of the packages and all that stuff being out of order. And then so I had to go back to another address to give them their package, because it was with the wrong address. And so I was like, wow. So that went off into 2 hours. That 30 minutes that I would have been completed in turned into 2 hours. So anyway, let me tell you this. So then I noticed a woman and her dog was approaching me. And I said on the inside without a word, speaking on the outside, I said to myself, dogs are not my best friend. A lion is my best friend. Now, I'm saying that because I knew that today was my fire day. But at the same time, I guess I was still being a little prideful because the dog was passing me by. So I was trying to think I was calling myself praying something that was supposed to have been prayed, but I actually was being a little evil because the dog had passed by me, because I was like trying to build up. I was trying to do a prayer in a different way or whatever, by bringing some profoundness to it, because that day I knew that I had to be in a certain state of mind, but it didn't need me to do all that. It didn't need me to do all that. So I said something immature, not knowing it was immature until the after effect of what was going on after that. Okay. So now I'm slowly passing up the dog. But moving fast, okay? And at the same time. So I get to a piece of mail and notice it was out of order again. So I'm like, man, this is going to take a long time. Okay? This is going to take some time. So I had to go back to where this mail was supposed to go, because the packages was not right, and they was not in the order that the lady had it, and then she told me that it was. So and me not thinking of it, and now I'm 2 hours in to this whole routine. Okay, so I'm 2 hours into this, and I knew that was the moment I was going out with my peace on this evil brand of a job. Okay. So as I was ending and on my last piece of mail, that woman and that dog was approaching me again. But there was a man coming up before me. He got to the dog and the woman and her dog before I did. And he started talking to her. He started talking to the woman that was with the dog. Then, as I was delivering the mail and I came from the houses, and then I went back down, and I was going down the little walkway, they was coming towards me. So now the woman and her dog are coming towards me. And then So I'm trying to hurry up and get back to the office, because I'm already 2 hours late, and I already know that they was finna call me in and be like, okay, this your last day, because I wasn't as fast as their regular were, and they was expecting too much. Okay, they was expecting too much. So so I'm going somewhere with this story, okay, but do pick up where you need to get it in, because what I'm saying to you is already automatically blowing your mind as I'm speaking about it. It's going to get into you. You're going to utilize this, and I'm telling you, you're going to get it. And again, like I said in my video before, and I'm going to say it again, you're going to say, oh, that girl Shantae said this, or you're going to be like, well, I do know that this person said that same thing. Like, wow. So let me get the peace and be at peace where I'm at. You know, you're gonna understand what I'm saying once I'm finished with this. Okay. I'm sorry it's taking a long time to finish this complete story, but it's a reason why I'm doing. I have to say this word for word. Okay. So I gotta hurry up and get back to the office. But this dog would not let me go by at this time. Like, this dog would not let me go by. Like, and I'm almost knowing that this dog, and at this time I'm like noticing that this dog had to build up the courage to do what was supposed to be done by this dog due to this man that had approached it first. Because this dog at first acted like it did not even want to be outside. It acted like it was angry at first. So the first time it just looked at me and just kept on going. Like it had just started walking outside or whatever. But then the man talking to the woman had caused this reaction in the dog to be super excited. So that woke, I know that at that moment I sensed that dog had finally woke up and was able to be in a position in which that dog was supposed to be in. Okay? And that was when I realized, like, this dog was supposed to be gave me this message. But it took a second time that me seeing that dog that he eventually was able to do that, because again, it was a man that came before me. If I had went past that dog again, the dog wouldn't have wouldn't had that courage to jump on me and say something to me or nothing like that. Okay, I'm getting too far ahead. You saying say something to you? What do you mean by? Okay, let me go. Let me finish what I'm saying here. Okay, so it was able to open itself up. Okay, because dogs can be angry too when they gotta walk, especially when they don't want to. All right, do know that dogs get angry too when they gotta walk. When they first walk, they don't want to. Some dogs don't. Some dogs, they don't even. They think their environment is in the house, but your environment is outside, just like ours too. Ours is outside too, which is why we supposed to be outside evangelizing, not in no building, secluded in no building. We supposed to be traveling as children of God. Understand me? Okay, so. And dogs can evangelize too. Okay, any animals, all inhabitants of on this earth can do whatever it is that God tells them to do. All right, so he was angry as well, and again, they could be angry as well when they gotta walk, especially when they don't want to. And I noticed that at that time. But this dog, when it got to me from the man opening it up to where it's at, which is outside. You outside, dog. You outside, okay? And it was back to how it was supposed to be in this environment. And that it is in outside and not inside. After you be inside for so long, you get depressed. You're not able to talk. You're not able to do what you're supposed to do. But when you're outside and you're doing it for a mission, you're doing it for a purpose, it's a different thing for when you're outside and you're going back inside. It's totally different. And I'm not saying you're going to be outside all day. I'm saying that when you go outside for a purpose and a mission and you know what you're supposed to be doing, then it's going to be different when you go back inside and you give it to your family. It's not going to be no huffing and puffing. You going to be on a mission. Your whole demeanor going to be different when you're doing it for a purpose and a mission. You understand? Not when you're just going out to work a job and you come back in the house with that type of attitude. Because you come back in just like that dog was outside. You come back in like, okay, well, I took a walk. Yeah. That's it. I took my walk. I'm good. Now let me go lay down in my bed and lay down and go back into this depressing mode again. Right? No, it's different when you're on your purpose and on your mission and you're doing something for you to edify you up in love. It's something totally different. You understand? So as it was approaching me, this dog, it suddenly got the urge to jump on me and everything. And it did it in such a polite way at the same time, right? So I thought that the dog wanted me to pat it and to rub it or something. And the woman, you know how owners always think they know their dogs or whatever. Some of them don't. Most majority of them don't. Because they are just as carnal, and they don't know who their dog is. They just know them by the physical. They don't know anything else other than the physical of their dogs, which means they don't know their dogs. So the woman who was walking the dog was like, oh, she, and I said he at first. It was a she. Oh, she just wants you to give her a rub. And I was like, I don't like rubbing dogs. Like, you know how you know, I'm like, I don't know what that dog been. I don't even know you taking care of that dog or not. I just don't even know, and that's normally how I am. So, and I was like, so I got out of my comfort zone, okay, of what people used to call OCD or whatever, and what the things that I did or whatever. And I got out of that comfort zone of that thing of what you call that, okay? And I pat the dog. I politely pat the dog, I said. And I realized that this dog didn't want to pat. So I took my hand away from the dog because I noticed that the dog didn't want to pat. So then I did it again. So I said, So I didn't like, again, I didn't like rubbing the dog. And as I did that, I made a step that I normally would not make out of nowhere. And I took my hands back and I touched the dog again. I put my hands on the dog again this time. And this dog began to talk to me. As I put my hand back on the dog again, the dog began to talk to me. And it said to me, hurry up back to the office. Yeah, it said, hurry up back to the office. And that's when I said, on the inside, I was like, why? To myself. Not out loud, but to myself. Only, because if I said it to the dog, talk to the dog while the owner right there, the owner would have thought that I was crazy, okay? So, or I was losing my mind. So I hurried up back to my truck so that I can get back to the office. And that's when I saw the lady. And that was the deja vu moment of my dream coming to surface. So she said in a very friendly, fake way, her little fakeness, such and such and such, which is his name, such and such, want to talk to you in the office. And I said, oh, okay. But see, my stuff was for peace. Her stuff was for fake. And so I said, oh, okay. Then the man said, as I went in, I took my time, I was putting everything up or whatever. And then I went into the office and then the man said, so this is the main manager, the postmaster. And he said in the office, how do you think you're doing? That's what he said to me. He said, so how do you think you're doing? And I was going to say what they would have thought of me to say. I was going to fight evil with evil by saying what they would have thought of me to say, which was going to be some negative stuff. Which was going to say, I was going to say to them, which is still considered fighting evil with evil. I was going to say to them, well, I think I'm doing good, but I know y'all going to say I'm doing bad. Or I was going to say something like, I ain't doing too well. I was going to do that. But that would have been fighting evil with evil when I know I'm good. I'm good to me. So I stood there for a little bit and I was silent for a little bit. And then I took the time out to respond. And you know what I said? I said to him, and I looked him in the face, I said, I'm doing great. I'm excellent. I have been improving since I've been on this job. And he looked at me like that, with his fake smile. But I was at peace. So, and I was very proud of myself. Then he was like, well, we have to let you go. So he gave me the piece of papers of saying that I had to be let go of. I wasn't fired or anything like that, but I was let go of. And that you can also, and he was like, I'm so sorry. I'm apologizing. But I still had a smile on my face. I was like, I'm okay. I'm going to be all right. Everything is good. Now, when I was a young girl, I would have cried, boo-hooed in front of this man. He would have loved that. And he would have got a thrill out of that. But, no, I didn't boo-hoo. I didn't cry. I almost did. But I was brought back to peace. Don't do that. Don't even give him the benefit of a doubt that he doing anything against you. He doing it against God. That's on him. And her. And all the people they told. And was talking against me. That was on that company. But I had a joyful day that day. Especially with that dog. That was the icing on the cake. After I had said immaturely that a dog is not my best friend, a lion is. And I'm sitting up here praying that. Boy, was I selfish. So I had a smile so big on my face. And I noticed he kept saying stuff just to make me cry or frown. And I still had a big smile on my face knowing that I was great. Because I had said it, so that's what I was. I didn't care what he was trying to make me feel or get into my feelings of what he was doing, like he had power over me. No, I didn't care nothing about that. I still said what I said, and that's what I held on to. I was great. I'm proud of myself. I have been improving since I've been on that job. And I can simply say that I did something that I always wanted to do. Then I thanked Jesus after that. And I told him, I'm okay. And again, he kept trying to control how I felt. He kept trying to put that off on me. He kept trying. But I wasn't there in my feelings. I was where he was not. And that was in my censorship of joy and peace and understanding. Was all over me. And I could not stop smiling in this peace. I couldn't stop smiling in this peace. As I was going out that door. I said, bye. Bye-bye, everybody. I'll see you later. And then I said that I'll see you again. And everybody, they was all outside like they didn't know what was going on, but I knew they knew what was going on because these managers talk. They run their mouth and they go tell everything. So they told that today was gonna be my last day. So they already knew. And I couldn't help it but say bye-bye, And I was so satisfied with the decision that they had made that day. And that's what it was. So I'm saying this to say, as I have wrote down, I'm saying this to say how we will be in the usage of our sensors, right? And not our feelings. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying we will be used in usage of our sensors. Stop relying on your feelings, because people can pull at you any which way and you go with that. But I was still stuck and abiding in my censorship. You know? And I was satisfied. And I was being satisfied with the outcome, no matter what was about to take place. Meaning my rent wasn't going to be paid. And my bills was going to be packed up. I was going to get kicked out of my apartment. I was okay. I didn't even think about none of that until they start calling. But I still was okay. I was like, you know what? I'm fine. I'm good. and also my sensors was being used. My sensors were being used. And on my last page, let me tell you, and my sensors were being used by that one touch of my hand. And I would have missed out on it if I would have been like, ugh, that dog. You know, I learned something that day. Moving in the steps God ordained for me to move in. And the same with you. And I was not in my feelings or nothing. And I was not fearing anything of what was going to happen after that. No touches of nothing, no OCD, no, which is nothing. I don't have that, but I'm saying that sickness, I didn't have that. That was out of pocket. Nothing. No paranormal, no fear paranormal stuff, which is when I touched that dog, it didn't faze me. I was in my censorship. So I, carrying the power of the Father and that dog in its rightful ordained place as well, helped me to sustain being and abiding in my censorship with the angels and God protecting me that day. And I learned so much within that day. And I wasn't scared of no darkness, no sickness, no death, no disease, from head to toe. Because, again, we will so I want to say this. I want to let you know this, and then I'm gone. We will be able to use our censorship for healing and connections with different things, okay? We will be able to use our censorship, the angels and God, and the fact that we got this pact with Jesus, okay, to perfection. Forget that imperfect stuff, that perfection, that perfectness. Forget that I'm not perfect, but that perfectness of that pact, okay, that we have with what's surrounding us through censorship. We will be able to use our censorship for what the Father has told me. We will be able to use our censorship for healing and connections. Like what happened when I touched that dog. So when these robots that they coming out with, everything finna be robotic. So when these robots do come on the scene, we will be able to touch on of these robots. Okay, some of us who are in the faith will be able, the children of God and those who are not, but are in the faith, will be able to touch on of these robots, even from afar. And their sensors will be used, they will be using as their life will be malfunction. The sensors that we will be using, even from afar, we can touch them or we don't have to touch them. It is going to be through our sensors and not our feelings, because then we're going to be toe to toe with the robots. But through our sensors, those robots are going to malfunction. They're going to malfunction, and they're going to work for the children of God coming up. And it will be through your sensors. Everything will just be around you. I'm telling you this right now. And evil will have to flee. And don't try to harp on nothing. Let it flee. Don't envy it. Just let it go. It's easy to envy it because you can start crying those little crocodile tears in your feelings because of somebody controlling you. But don't worry about that. Let evil flee. No matter what's going on around you, no matter what may happen in that time, let evil flee. And it's going to flee before you. So anyway, I'm gone for now. Stay tuned for more. Bye for now. Sorry for the long story.